So I saw the Gillette ad, and I must say I found it greatly amusing. The latest chapter of woke capitalism, where a big corporation, one of the biggest really, Procter and Gamble, which, due to their use of palm oil for their cosmetics, leads to deforestation in Southeast Asia and their animal testing, which kills 50,000 dogs a year. And of course, just narrowing down to Gillette, a company which sells women's razors at triple the price of a man's razor, hashtag pink tax, and in the past certainly hasn't been shy about showing women in rather provocative outfits to help foster their brand. But now we've gotten woke. Oh yes, my friends. Now it's time to care about social justice. The company's probably spent literally billions of dollars over the last, 20 years trying to pound into our skulls the hashtag the best a man can get, because Gillette wanted to own the shaving related concept of male hygiene, or at least the premier niche of it. And why exactly would a man observe good hygiene or pay for the absolute top of the line, the best a man could get? Why, so that he could attract the very best mate he could get, so that he could confidently approach a woman and say, "Hello there." At least that's what Don Draper would have probably suggested to them. But no. At our new ad, men shouldn't do approaching at all. In fact, if you see someone approaching a woman, you are to stop them, because this poor woman, she can't possibly decline this offer herself. No, this has to come from a man. And that's another hilarious thing I find about the ad, is the cloaked sexism. Women are not portrayed as capable as men are, but we're not supposed to comment on that. Like, we have a scene in a boardroom, and a guy's like, "I think what she means," because, mansplaining is a horrible sin in the new religion of social justice. But if women are really equals, and what is a boardroom really but a collision of rivals, each presenting different ideas and seeking dominance, well then, why can't someone say what I think she's trying to say is? Why can't rivals explore rhetorical weakness in the other? Is that not okay? Because she's a woman, and apparently can't say no to a man approaching her because they're the more frail sex? Is that basically what we're getting at? It's this strange cloaked sexism which underlies the entire ad, and really, I suppose, feminism itself. Instead, this ad takes the prior entirely male-focused slogan of the best a man can get, and now uses it to launch into a laundry list of things that men do that seem to annoy women, and then suggest to men that this is because they weren't brought up right, which is, of course, the fault of their fathers and no one else. And that if only we men could understand how much we annoy women. It's hard for me to say this without bursting into laughing, because it's this great cosmic joke. It's men's fault that we're just so dumb and annoying to women. And if only we could get deep down understanding of the necessity of treating women as what? And that's the thing. The ad doesn't really tell you how exactly you're to approach a woman. No. The ad just says don't, essentially. It is the most bizarre male hygiene-oriented ad I've ever seen. Like, don't bother cleaning yourself up, because you're not going to approach anyone at all. Because that's not only annoying, it's toxic. It's toxic masculinity. And just in case we were trying to understand which political party we're going with, we of course get the lady from the Young Turks, Anna Kasparian. Say what you want about her. Maybe she's great, maybe she's horrible, but she's certainly partisan, as is the entire ad. The entire ad presents men as the problem which need fixing. And this, by the way, has come up in my online discussions. Feminists argue to me that men are the problem. Men lie at the root of why the world is the way it is, and they see masculinity as the ultimate root evil, which must be corrected. And women have done as much as they possibly can, but now it's fallen to us men to get our stuff in order so that women can finally stop being oppressed. That is the most pandering nonsense I've ever heard. And it's being sold to me by Procter & Gamble and an ad targeted to men. I can't imagine they're going to be selling a tremendous amount of razors over this. I mean, they're specifically going with a straight-up feminist message. Are they assuming that women are now going to go out and buy the Venus razor to make up for the sales they're going to lose from alienating their core audience? I guess it tripled. I guess it tripled the price, right? I mean, why not? They're making a ton more profit on those things, so I suppose maybe that is their very bold marketing strategy. And the joke just goes deeper and deeper the more you dig into it. The notion that we can just essentially do a bit of different upbringing in order to overcome thousands of years of evolutionary biology, which has arrived at the point by which men approach women and women seem to prefer that. No. We're going to completely restructure society. That has been the entire basis of the Enlightenment, that we could use reason to form a better world. And in many ways we have. The problem being hubris, pride, kind of sets in, and then we think, well, we can just use reason to overcome all kinds of things. And then we get the French Revolution and communism, and millions of people die. But what really amuses me is how the ad itself kind of mirrors gender relations itself. What is it that we men are ultimately trying to do? Is just go, how can we possibly make you happy, women? We're so sorry that we annoy you. We'll stop. We'll promise we're going to stop. And that is, of course, what you want your men's razor company to be telling you under the label, the best a man can get. I must confess, I did get slightly triggered by the ad. Just kind of going back to my own experiences, I've dated a number of women, some notable feminists, and I certainly got some emotional scars. Oh gosh, one of my first experiences. You see, I went to an all-Catholic high school, a boys' school, if you will. So my first girlfriend wasn't until after I graduated, and she was only there for the summer. Then she went off to college, and then I went off in the world of college, this very disorienting kind of change. And I was approached by a woman who, now we're ending the segment of, you want to know how I got these scars? Well, I was approached by the president of the Women's Interest Network. And we went out for a while, and goodness, was I into her. She seemed perfect in every way. So smart, so accomplished, so together. She was building her resume for, who knows what, a future in academics, which of course meant she was heavily left, just in case the president of Women's Interest Network wasn't enough for you. She actually gave a speech where she said, if I die, I hope I will die a politically correct death. She said that. Her stated reason for breaking up with me absolutely broke my heart, was that she simply could not tolerate my stance on Star Trek. She said, I know this sounds stupid, but I just can't keep going out with a man who accepts the way women were portrayed in the original Star Trek. And she did admit that at the time, it was certainly a kind of feminist-oriented show, because it was showing women in positions of power, which the society at the time. But now, and this was back in the early 90s, now that we were close to 30 years on from the original series, now we should look back and find it distasteful. A completely intellectually absurd thing, but this is another example of why we say the left eats their own. We have Star Trek, this show put out by a guy clearly on the left, clearly a feminist, and as part of being a male feminist, he was, of course, shagging the cast members. But he produced a very feminist-oriented show back in the 1960s, and then 30 years later, feminists hate it. It's horrible. No one should watch it. And now we've arrived here. And the thing that is so telling about this ad is it doesn't say what to do, it just says what not to do, which it just mirrors the gender politics of we men simply don't understand what it is we need to do to make women happy. We're just given a list of what has annoyed you lately, and oh my goodness, we are so very sorry for that. So I see a number of people getting rather upset about the ad, and really they just need to calm down. Let the corporation commit suicide. Yes, they are perhaps polluting our culture with ridiculous ideas, but, well, it is a free market, and people are allowed to do that. They're allowed to commit corporate suicide any way they see fit, I suppose. I would take objection if the government bailed them out, though. So just stand back, wait for the fall you know is inevitably coming, and remember, why so serious?